Yeah, light walker here coming at you with a late afternoon hike on Thursday the 27th of April 2017 off of Edgewood Road. You can see the parking lot on the left and the entrance on the right. It's about 1.5 miles south of Southington Road. Beautiful afternoon. There's a water feature right off the road, so if you're looking for the entrance, you can also look for this little bridge over this creek. As you know, I love water features. Here's a little creek that you cross about a half mile into the hike. Fortunately, there's rocks for you to cross, and this is probably as deep as it gets. That's what the trail looks like after crossing that. Just basically into a nice trail, pretty flat, 1 on a scale of 1 to 10. You can see that the trail blaze cuts off to the right after about a quarter mile or so. You take that and you're at 7/10 of a mile, according to the All Trails app. Then it gets a little steep, no more than a 2 or a 3 on a scale of 1 to 10. Nothing very challenging. Didn't even have trekking poles that day because it was pretty flat. You can see it switches to the left and then it switches to the right and then goes underneath this rock wall. Then comes out and you can see this this clearing area. Looks like a fire break area, and to the right there's another rock outpost. Straight ahead. And you can see from the top of that post you get a fairly good view of the Berlin/Newington area. Then once you get over that post you're back onto the woods, onto a ridge line. Some moss there. And a little further up you could finally see the opening to the Southington Valley. At this point we are 2.1 miles into our hike. You can see that we're not far from Meriden Avenue at this point, and then a little further you could see that we are not far from Hubbard Park either. And here we are going up across that ridgeline further up. It's a gradual climb, no more than a 2 or a 3 on a scale of 1 to 10. Up the ridgeline. It's another viewpoint, Southington area, going up the ridgeline. Oh, some video I meant to get rid of. Forgot about that. Here's a beautiful view of the valley for the first outlook, looking toward the Plantsville-Wolcott area. And here's some video. It's Rattlesnake Mountain, by the way, up in Farmington. Little downward stretch. Little mountain lake. Trail actually kind of goes just to the left of that. So I had to kind of go around it to keep my feet from getting wet. Here's another overlook of the valley. Got some pictures of it. Pretty overcast day, so the pictures didn't come out that well. Plus it was late in the afternoon facing to the sun. At least it was cool. Temps were in the low 60s, so it didn't really break much of a sweat. Shorts and t-shirt weather for sure. So it looks like it's looking toward Meriden. Could be mistaken. It's looking down down the hill into the Southington Valley. Just shows you how steep it is up here. A couple 100 feet cliff there. And you can see the electric towers coming up, the antennas. Some kind of signaling station. I took some pictures of what this place was all about, but the video would have been too long. Opens up into a big parking lot. You basically just want to head straight to the right to the end of that parking lot. You'll see the trail marker again, the blaze. And you'll see a good look at this tall tower, the platform up top. Then you basically, at that point, you don't go straight. You actually go left up here. I went straight for about 50 yards and then found out wrong direction. So I went left and back on the trail. Then it goes down a little bit to this mountain lake, which will probably be gone within a month or two. And then you take a right, and it goes downhill a little bit into this rocky part of the trail. And that part of the trail actually does face out toward Meriden. You can see the viewpoint from the end of the rock trail. And the trail kind of goes to the left, down the slope of the mountain. You drop about 100, maybe 200 feet going down this rocky slope. And here we are going down the trail. You can see, or actually looking back up at the trail, you can see how rocky it was. You can see the highway, 691 from there, between Southington and Meriden. And you can see how steep this part of the mountain is. It's all rock, loose shale, very little life, just because it's so steep. And here's a trail going back up. What goes down must come up, right? In the hiking world. Come back up a couple 100 feet. And that's what I call sitting rock, because there's a place there for just about anyone to sit comfortably, depending upon how tall they are. So I sat a spell there for a few minutes. Kept hiking up. There's a nice rock feature, which will probably be mostly covered within a few weeks when the leaves come out. And you finally get to the top, and unfortunately there's some graffiti. You find that on most trails these days, unfortunately. Actually, most trails you don't. Some trails you do. And there's a first view of Hubbard Park, the lake at Hubbard Park, some of the amusement rides setting up for the Daffodil Festival, which was starting the next day. And there's an open area on top. It looks a little wet, but it looks like once it dries up, it's a beautiful spot for a little picnic area. No camping are allowed there, but a nice place for a picnic. And there's a first view of Castle Craig. We're coming in from the west. And there's a look at the castle from the east. It's 32 feet of elevation, or 38, I forget. And there's some information about when it was dedicated. Over 100 years ago. And there's some views from the base of the castle. It's looking toward Berlin, out east. Looking out south toward Meriden, Wallingford in the distance. And the other direction, which would be east, northeast, toward Wolcott, Cheshire area. You can see a highway there too. Okay, heading back, just to make sure you don't get lost, look for the trail marker coming off the larger trail to the right. If you miss that, you'll be you'll be heading continuing across a ridge. At this point, you are 3.4 miles into the hike. Actually, that point you're at Castle Craig, you're at 3.4 miles into the hike. There's a total distance for the hike, just 6.4 miles, elevation change of 1,309 feet, with a moving time of just under 2.5 hours. Hope you enjoyed the walk, and don't forget to walk by the light of Christ.